All right, let's start with GJ real quick. Last night was a pretty good opportunity for buys, and I plotted it out, but I was awake at one. However, that's not the time I typically take trades. But the trade makes sense because the 4 hour was maintaining high lows the whole time. The last high low on the 4 hour was here, so I just dragged it over. And then when price came and started making an engulfing, I was like, oh, this would be an ideal time to buy. What was I looking at? 15. So what I would have been looking for is that movement right here. That movement where we have the higher low and an engulfing. But this was around like 12:45. That would be the case if I didn't care about time, but I do trade with time. So this trade wasn't actually one I took. Um, let's see, the current 4 hour, the last higher low, it's in the same place, right? So there's a possibility that price could come to this level and then continue bullish from here. You could see a 15-minute, if you see a 15-minute engulfing or higher low, that'd be good. Well, when it comes to the 15-minute, I would rather see the 15-minute engulfing, but also a higher low. I just don't want one. If it's a 30-minute, then cool. I'm cool with just one engulfing. So maybe something that goes here and then back bullish. Now for gold ended up being really, really nice. So we know the weekly bias is bullish overall. Higher lows maintaining, higher lows maintaining right now. So I go based off of the current weekly flow and daily flow. And the reason why yesterday's trade would have worked and I should have kept is because the weekly flow was bullish and we came into weekly support. And even though the daily barely broke support, once we dipped in here, we went all the way back up. I mean, it took some time, but I saw it happen. So, I believe it was here. So once I saw these, I was like, okay, cool. Let me go ahead and get in. Stop loss right here. Drag it over. And I put that it could come here to the next daily level, which would have been a nice, easy, breezy 1 to 3. But long term, though, the daily could have more bearish movement. Let me put this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we had but I would still expect it to maintain this level until the weekly said we're not bullish anymore. But as of now, we're still bullish. If the daily closes as an engulfing, that will just be a sign that price is probably going to continue bullish. Ideally, what would make me keep the bullish bias for the daily candle is like some higher low forming or something like that. But yeah, today well, this week has been pretty good. Let's see, what day even is it? 24th. Yeah, I think I took a buy. Oh, did I? No, correct. But yeah, and I don't even look at GU now because I feel like gold and GJ give me enough and move good enough that I don't necessarily have to be on GU. Plus, GU confuses me. We got news at 10. I thought it was yesterday. Oh, it was. More home sales. Let's see how price reacted around 10 yesterday for US news. Yeah, see? We had a red folding news here, and it popped up, consolidated and moved sideways, and then went back to this next daily resistance. Like, I will be willing to, oopsies, I will be willing to sell today if I see a break of support on the smaller time frames. Because the 4 hour is actually bearish, the flow is bearish, and the daily is bearish. Yeah, the weekly is not, but the daily is now. And because the daily is, You know, this could be a good place for price to maybe move sideways a little bit and then come back down, maybe. But because of the daily has more bullish, has more bearish momentum at the moment. And it's ever since we had a support here and I have this bearish. Now we have two bearish candles. Literally the whole time we didn't have that. So, yeah, gold could give bears. I see, like, even if it's not today, even if it's in a few days, it could come back to 2,300. That's a possibility. But yesterday's trade, and yesterday the trade was completely valid because this candle was still open. So, I think maybe some gold sells for today and some DJ buys if price comes low enough. Let's see what's happening with DJ. Main support broke it with these candles. Now we have a lower high. Today might be, again, I haven't counter trend in a really long time, fortunately. At least against the daily time frame and the 4-hour time frame. Unless I see some sort of transition on the daily or 4-hour, that makes sense, like a higher low. But yeah, I think here first and then up. Like if price doesn't come down here, I'm not gonna be taking the trade because I'm not taking a trade with all this resistance right here. I've learned. And this, yeah, it's still bullish until proven otherwise. Like I would have to see two bearish candles come under here and close before I continually sell again. Because again, the 4-hour is bearish and the daily is bearish. The only thing that's not on our side right now is the weekly time frame, which is why I've been buying this entire time, because technically nothing broke. We didn't have a bearish break on the daily time frame until now. So we might start to see more bears come into play. And like how the weekly close, we close as a lower high, yes, but again, the flow is the priority. The trend is the priority. And right now, the weekly trend is still bullish. So we could absolutely close bullish this week. But, we'll see. We'll see how price is going to react at around 9:30. Right now, it's still very bullish on the smaller time frames. So I wouldn't force anything at all. Oh, how I've grown. All right. Happy trading.